Hello everyone, welcome to the book talk with Ecy Femi King. My name is Mehran Sahami. I'm the chair of the computer science department, and I get to work with this wonderful person. We have actually over many years. I want to give you a brief introduction to Ecy and spend a little bit of time talking about the current book, the precursor to the book, how we got here, ask her some questions so I can find out all the backstory. So I am just delighted to be able to introduce Ecy Femi King on the release of her book Bit by Bit. There's this version here, and then there is the old school version, which I also have that we had published in the CS department. I'll tell you that story. But to give you a little bit of an introduction, Ecy got her BS in Symbolic Systems in the HCI concentration in 23. She is currently finishing up her master's in computer science, also in the HCI concentration, 24. I'll see you at the graduation ceremony, hopefully. Excellent. She was, just because, you know, she's got so much extra spare time, senior class president, CS 198 section leader for 7 quarters, head TA for CS 106A last summer, instructor for CS 100 ACE, member of the Stanford Alumni Association Board of Directors, a regular contributor to the Stanford Daily, and the author of Bit by Bit, which is what we're here to celebrate. So what I want to do is start talking a little bit about this version of the book, and then we'll talk a little bit about the new version of the book. So this version we had published in the CS department. We had 500 copies made. Ecy came to us, to a couple different faculty, and showed us this thing that she'd written, and we were like, oh my god, this is amazing. We need to order copies. We need to distribute them to section leaders. We need to give them to students in our classes, because it is just a wonderful pictorial way of being able to introduce computer science in a variety of ways across CS 106A and CS 106B. So we ordered a bunch of these copies. If you didn't get one of these copies, sorry, because we're out. Now you can get the new copy, which we're going to talk about today. So let's talk a little bit about that, shall we? So tell us what kind of got you started on this project. How did you start doing this? Where did it come from? Give us the backstory.
I'm going to take this off because it has a little grid on the front. And people who know me know that I'm a huge fan of this thing called like fractal gridding, which my dad introduced me to. And so I actually wanted to do a project that combined like this fractal grid structure with computer science, education, like learning psychology. I was like studying education abroad in Oxford and like in my education era. So as I was doing that, I was like, how do I combine like this fractal grid thing, like computer science and like visual thinking as a section leader? And I was like, wouldn't it be really cool to make like a CS 106A/B themed comic? And so I applied for like VPUE's major grant, and VPUE was crazy enough to say, okay. And then from there, the project started.
That was fantastic. And I'm glad VPUE had the good sense to fund you in doing this project. Nice Carol earrings, by the way. Just got to point that out if you didn't notice it. I want to find out a little bit more about Fractal Grid. So tell me a little bit more about why you use this format, how it's kind of set up for the pages. What is that kind of, you know, what's the journey of how that looks like for you? How do you decide what goes in all these panels?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with fractal gridding, that's something that my dad introduced and invented when I was really young. At first I didn't use it like at all. But then I came back home during the pandemic. I got really into visual thinking and I started using it more and more and more. Soon like my to-do lists were like that, and then my notes were like that, and I was fractal gridding like anything and everything that I could. I just found it a super duper accessible and kind of fun way to access things. For context, it's like this structure, which is like all over the book, where it's like a tic-tac-toe. You have like the main topic in the center, like the sun, and then surrounding topics outside, and then the fractal part comes in where you can like make each one of those things into its own fractal. And so It's been really helpful in organizing information, like not in a linear way, but kind of this radial one, and just kind of exploring it. My brain kind of works like that. So I was like, this is cool. Other people might find it cool. What else can I apply it to? And so I was looking for different things to apply it to. One of my mentors, Christina, when he was like, yo, like it would be so cool if you did an independent project. We did like an independent tech project, working on a software, and then eventually I was like, what if I applied it to computer science and education, and then from there came it using the book.
Right on. So what made you decide to have computer science education be the topic?
Yeah, so actually at first I was just like, I want to do a fractal grading like research project. Like I'm gonna like look at like note cards and stuff and like break it up. And then I started writing a proposal for this grant, and it was really bad. I wasn't feeling passionate about it or anything. So I think like 9 days before it was due, I scrapped that idea. I was like, what am I passionate about? And I made a mind map and a little grid of like what I liked in life. So I was like, okay, I've been section leading, that's been great. I did code in place, that was really fun. I enjoy that. I really enjoy doodling. Like I don't do it like in any professional way, but like I enjoy that a lot. I like visual thinking. Like I'm doing an education tutorial at like Oxford University. Like I like education. How can I combine those things with fractal grading? And so like I have like a page where it's just like these ideas, and then suddenly like they all came together, and I was like, wait, like in the grid, something that deals with CS education, something that's like a comic, maybe it's like a layer guide, and then I was like, what if it was like a CS guide for like the classes, and then
Nice. So is this something like, was it all developed from scratch when you decided to do this, or did you already have like from other CS classes you take in fractal grids or notes that you kind of thought about before and leveraged for the book, or you just did it all from scratch?
Yeah, so the book stuff, it was pretty much from scratch. Every class since like spring of 2020, I've pretty much like fractal gridded, and including I'm like a layer helper, like office hour helper. And so I actually fractal gridded like the assignments and stuff. And so that had kind of put the idea, it's kind of like a storyboard. What if I applied that to like that regular material? So I had to do all of the material and stuff from scratch using the structure. But I had lots of practice using the structure to see the list.
And is it something that just comes natural to you now, or do you, when you create one of these fractal grids, do you like lay out cards and then go and rearrange stuff, or do you just like sit there with the grid and just like fill it out and you're done?
Yeah, it's become really intuitive now, because I think I've just been using it like every day for a lot of years. So sometimes I'll literally just like, I'll be not on paper or anything and just think of something, and then just like think, okay, there's something north, something east, something south, something west, and it's like this super like spatial feeling, I guess. It allows me to do things really quickly, and for my A sectionies out there, you know how much like I love to use it, and it's helped me to prep for things really quickly, because I kind of just put something in the middle. I feel like kind of what goes around, and then I can quickly fill those in and refine it. And the design process, you put something there, you refine it, and so it's made that a lot easier.
Do the directions mean anything specific, like north, south, east, and west, or they're just like how you kind of spatially think about it?
They don't have to, but they can.
Do they for you?
For me, yeah, I think of them as like north, east, south, west, and like northeast, and I'd have to like do things with code, so I have to be like, okay, this is like the northeast cell, and like this is like that class component where it's like representing. So I do think of them that way, like in a coding context. And then sometimes I think of them that way in a, like, when I'm drawing them, but not always. I also have like a calendar, and so I think of this as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like directions and concepts really are sort of like, they have some sort of coherent or coterminous meaning for you.
Yeah, they get like dually encoded. There's like a direction and also a
Wow, very cool. So I want to change gears a little bit from fractal grid to then go through sort of the process of you writing this book. So who were some of the first people who saw what you were doing, and what was the reaction? How did things evolve from there?
Yeah, so there was the part where it was the idea, and I don't think anybody at Oxford saw me doing it, because I was in my room like at 3 a.m. just like writing out this grant and trying to get it in on time. But after that was written, I'd say some of the first people were Christina, who's my like major advisor, but also like advisor for the book. She's known me as like the grid girl, because like in any class, I like always do things in a grid, and she's kind of a designer, so she's like, oh, this grid thing, like you're always doing it, like what is it about? Bill Wong, who's like my other advisor, like also saw it, because he like had to write something and send it in. And then I would say the summer I was working on the project, I had 106A and 106B.